Hi, this is Danielle Moeller again. This is going to be part 2 of my educational terminology assignment. So in this video I will be going through terms 21 through 40, giving definitions, elaborating when necessary, and we'll start that off now with number 21, which is interactive instruction. It's kind of like an instructional strategy that aims to make students converse and collaborate with both their peers and teachers. So just getting people social, talking, passing ideas back and forth, that could be an example of interactive instruction. 22 is intervention. So interventions are planned sequences of steps that are intended to teach a specific learning objective to a student or many students. Steps can include student-specific instruction, constant assessment of the student, and then the use of that information to better target their learning needs. 23 is learning disability. So this is a disability which inhibits a student from learning on the same level as peers. Examples would be dyslexia, ADHD, dyscalculia. They all fall under the category of learning disabilities. 24 is literacy across the curriculum. So this means that students must be fluent in the different forms of academic language in each subject. Every subject has a vocabulary and style that influence the way it is written about, talked about, and even thought about. So it's really important that students know all the different kinds so that they can adapt their language based on what subject they're writing or talking about. 25 is mainstreaming / inclusion / least restrictive environment. So we'll start with inclusion, and that's a philosophy that says every individual, ability aside, can operate in one environment while receiving support and attention, and Catherine Lytle said that. Mainstreaming is the process of putting students with disabilities in class that are not special ed, while still expecting them to keep up with little to no help. And then the least restrictive environment is then the idea that a student should be subject to a general education class until they have proved the need for alternative instruction. 26 is modifications versus accommodations. So both of these are changes to instruction and assessment for a specific student, but modifications change or reduce learning expectations, while accommodations do not. 27 is No Child Left Behind. So this is an act of Congress that requires schools to be accountable for developing a statewide assessment in order to receive school funding from the government. So No Child Left Behind is kind of often criticized for its emphasis on standardized testing and essentially essentialist theory, which kind of neglects various learning styles and student interests. But it's still very important for making sure that our students are on track and like what are perceived to be the three most important subjects taught in schools, which would be basically language arts, math, and maybe STEM in there too. 28 is professional learning community. So a professional learning community is a collaboration between teachers to maximize the efficacy of instruction. A specific point of interest might be worked into subjects across the curriculum, and then that can help the student to focus / form a vast expanse of knowledge about said topic. 29 is rigor. So the Glossary of Education defines rigor as instruction, schoolwork, and learning experience that are academically, intellectually, and academically challenging. There was academically in there twice. Critical thinking is a major part of rigor as it forces students to challenge ideas, make connections, and conduct research. Number 30 is a rubric. So a rubric is a standard of performance by which an assignment is judged. Rubrics may be set up in grids with what constitutes an A grade, B grade, etc., or it might be more complex, such as like the student reached these objectives, and they can be really varied across the board. 31 is scaffolding. So scaffolding is a system of support that is designed to work off of newly learned concepts to better reinforce their significance. So assigning tasks, modeling, and providing diagrams are all forms of scaffolding to really reinforce that information that has just been given to the students. 32 is scope and sequence. So scope is going to be the list of learning objectives that the curriculum must meet according to local, state, and national standards. sequence then is then the order in which those learning objectives will be accomplished. 33 is socioeconomic status. So socioeconomic status measures a person's work experience and economic/social position compared to everyone around them. So socioeconomic status becomes especially important when we consider how it may benefit students or even put them at a disadvantage. 34 is social emotional learning. So social emotional learning focuses on the expression and management of emotions, as well as the importance of relationship in regards to learning. So community involvement, communication with parents, and activities that promote social activity are highly conducive to successful learning environments. 35 is special education. So special education is the process of teaching students with disabilities, learning or otherwise, in such a way that accommodates their exceptionalities. 36 is standards, including Common Core. Standards are expectations of the skills that every student should have mastered by a certain grade level. Common Core standards largely focus on English language art and mathematics, and they believe that mastery of these standards prepares students for college and future careers. 37 is standardized testing. So a standardized test is rooted in, you guessed it, standards. Every student receives the same test and answers the same questions so their performance can be compared. Multiple choice, true, false, and essay questions can all be found on a standardized test. Examples would be the SAT, the ACT, or even the MCA. 38 is STEM. So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. This is an academic discipline that has been brought to light in recent years for its undoubtable contributions to technology. So there's really been an increased focus on STEM education in schools pretty much nationally. 39 is Title I. So Title I is a federal aid program that provides federal aid for schools with low poverty levels. So socioeconomic status may put students at risk of falling behind academically, and Title I is meant to combat that by providing a satisfactory education for every student, not just those in need. And then finally, 40 is zones of proximal development. So Lev Vygotsky coined this term to show how students who may not know how to do a certain task can eventually work up to doing it themselves if they are guided first. So very similar to scaffolding, students can develop motor skills, language proficiency, and other tasks when guided through the different zones of proximal development. So starting a student doing things with someone teaching them constantly, then slowly bringing that person away until the student is finally doing something on their own. So I believe that concludes this second video and my educational terminology assignment. I hope that I have been able to explain all the terms correctly, and I hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you.